and gentlemen, on April 17th, 1980, my daughter, Rona, walked out of my house to go to her grandma's house. She never got there. She never came back. She was 10. She's been missing for 5 years now. She'll be 15 years old tonight. I just know she's alive. I have faith, and every night I pray that whatever reason is stopping her from coming home will be removed, and that she'll phone or write or just knock on the door and say, "Mom, it's me." Frozen by Bryony Lavery is much more than a story about child abduction and murder. It is a story about the struggle to understand and the struggle to forgive when the very act of forgiveness seems absurd. Dorothy Lewis, a psychologist who studied serial killers for over 25 years, once wrote, "The difference between a crime of evil and a crime of illness is the difference between a sin and a symptom. An illness can be forgiven, but can someone who is inherently evil, and how do you determine the difference?" In this selection, Nancy, the mother of murdered child, and psychiatrist Azeneth work through the struggle 20 years after Rona disappears. Frozen by Bryony Lavery. 4 days ago, 2 young policemen say, "We have apprehended a man in the unsuccessful attempted abduction of a young girl." Subsequent inquiries have uncovered a lock-up shed. The earth floor contains the remains of other children. The cop is now giving us names. One of them, he says, is Rona. All these years I've been growing her up, and she's been, well, he's had her buried away. Serial killing, a forgivable act, and it is the critical examination of the differences between crime of evil and crime of illness. I will base my critique upon a psychiatric and neurological study of the criminal brain. I am a psychiatric explorer, and therefore my chosen expedition will be the Arctic frozen sea that is, the criminal brain. Let us take a look. The cortex is the thick covering of the grey matter on the upper part of every human brain, and the function of the cortex. And in particular, those parts of the cortex beneath the forehead, also known as the frontal lobes, is to modulate the impulses that surge up from within the brain. The cortex and the frontal lobes are there to provide judgment, to organize behaviors and decision-making, to learn and to stick to the rules of everyday life. Ladies and gentlemen, they are responsible for making us human. Ralph Ian Wantodge is currently in Long Laring maximum security prison, serving a life sentence without remission for the abduction, sexual assault, and murder of 7 young girls in a period of over 21 years. I'm not going to harm you, I'm going to tap you on the nose. When you tap someone on the bridge of the nose, it is reasonable for the person to blink a couple of times because there is a threat from the outside. When it's clear there is no threat, a person should be able to accommodate that. However, if the subject blinks more than twice, that's what we call insufficiency of suppression, which may show some frontal lobe dysfunction. The inability to accommodate shows that you can't adapt to a new situation. There's a certain rigidity there, like the person is icebound. Over the years, I've studied more than 250 dangerous criminals. In significant numbers, these men have incurred physical damage to the brain. What you get is a kind of erraticness. They can be very different in one situation compared to another. There is a sense that they don't have a larger moral compass. So, no remorse then, Ralphie? Remorse? So, what is that? Remorse. Like regret, but more. It's a feeling of compunction, of deep regret. You repent your sin, you feel sorrow, pity, compassion, a sort of tender feeling. I can't say I do. only thing I'm sorry about is that it's not legal. What's not legal? Killing girls. He took her. She was just going to Grandma's for me, and he forced her into the van, and she's 10, and he wrapped her in polythene sheeting, and she was unconscious, but she wasn't dead then. He took her to a shed near, and well, we think he sexually assaulted her before he held the polythene to her face and suffocated her. Breathe. It's okay. Breathe. I'm accepting it. I'm accepting she's dead, but I'm not, and I need to. So he's the next step. I want to know why. I want to know why her. I want him to know what he's done. I want him to know how I feel. I want to understand. If I could just understand, it might be better, or even just bloody different. It's time. I want a visit. Most forensic psychiatrists tend to buy into the notion of evil. I don't. I can't. The serial murderers I have tested are not in that category. The deeds are bizarre, grotesque, life-destroying, but not evil. They are driven by forces beyond their control. The appointment is unviable. The components unstable. Who does she think she is? I've written some letters, made some phone calls. I'll get that visit. That's him? Ralph Wantage? Nancy Shirley, you agreed to see me? She was one of your kids. Rona. Rona. Funny you coming. I wanted to let you know I forgive you for killing my daughter. Thank you. I wanted to let you know I don't hate you. Okay. I did, but I don't anymore. Okay. I don't think I hurt her. You did. I don't think she was frightened at all. She must have been. She must have been frightened. Your dad, what did he do? My dad? Well, he was the disciplinarian, obviously. Hurt you a lot? Can you see it then? Can you see it hurt Rona? Can you see it frightened her? What you did? Yes, yes. Don't come and bother me again. Not to death? I don't think so.